Welcome back to the Boneyard Podcast, everybody. This is your host, Jared Shaffett, along with my good friend,
Artemis, bro.
We're coming to you this week with episode 178. 178. Artemis, how we doing, my friend?
We're good, brother. The holidays are past us. It came and went. It's gone in a flash. It's a new year. It's 2024. I cannot believe we're in the year 2024, year of our Lord.
Kobe year.
Kobe year, yes. Good shout out to Kobe. But I feel good, man. I feel good. I'm coming off back-to-back days, going into the office. I'm a little tired, but I still got the energy. I still got the juice. I'm here. I'm one of my good friends. He looks like the broke Captain Hook right now with that damn mustache. But we're good. We're good.
You don't like the mustache, Charlie? I must ask you a question. God, I love it. No, it's been a while since I've been able to see my barber. So going next week though.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be looking right next.
You've been letting that the mustache grow for a minute. I can tell you that thing been growing.
Yeah, this thing's it's hard to tame the beast, Artie. It's hard to tame the beast.
Jared, I used to know was clean shaven, like the baby face. Now he became a dad. He became a married man and a dad. Now he's rugged. Needs a beard.
I haven't been clean shaven in almost 2 years now, Artie. Last time I was clean shaven, I shaved it down to a mustache only. But we haven't had a baby face Jared in a long time, and I guess
it has been a couple years since we've seen baby face Jared.
I don't think we're gonna get baby face Jared.
No, we don't need babyface Jared. I'm gonna be honest with you. We don't need babyface Jared.
Nobody needs babyface Jared. You
gotta keep some sort of facial hair up on that face.
I do not look good without a beard. I mean, I don't look good with a beard, but I definitely don't look good without a beard.
You said it, not me, brother.
And then Artie has this thing every once in a while when he lets his beard go. He starts to look like LeBron James. Like I swear, like the facial hair is the same.
It's pretty tamed right now. I can really let this thing grow out more if I really want to.
Like sometimes that thing gets out there and he does like it doesn't connect. So it looks like LeBron James. Like that's not even.
You remember when I had the mutton chops though? I ain't got the mutton chops no more.
Those
are brutal days. Oh my God, those are brutal days. Goodness gracious.
Oh man. Oh well. Artie, good to be back with you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Pirate Nation. Hey, let's put 2023 behind us. Nobody wants to think about 2023 from an ECU standpoint. Highlight of the year, Artie. What would you say your highlight of the year for 2023 was?
ECU athletics was?
Yes.
Our women's volleyball making it, as far as they've having the season that they did, doing what they did. I'm gonna give them a shout out. Our ECU women's volleyball team.
I'm gonna go women's basketball. Going to the big dance. So that's mine. Other than that, it was a pretty disappointing year.
Yeah.
I thought the LeClaire year was going to be much better than what it was, but
right. We'll get in the Kobe year.
We'll get in the Kobe year. He wore purple and gold. Number 78, Artie. You got one?
I do have a 78. I didn't know that this guy was this much of a badass until I just saw his Wikipedia page. But my 78 for this week is Alejandro Villanueva, former offensive lineman. I'm going back to the Big Uglies. All right. So former offensive tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles, Pittsburgh Steelers, and Baltimore Ravens. This guy went to Army. He played college football for the Army Black Knights, fulfilled his service commitment, and not only fulfilled his service commitment, but he reached the rank of captain in the Army, and he also served in the Army Rangers, earning a Bronze Star after serving 3 tours of duty in Afghanistan. So he played college football in the Army, got a great education, became captain in the Army, received a Bronze Star as an Army Ranger, did 3 tours in Afghanistan. This was all before he became an NFL pro and had a really good 8-year career as an NFL pro. Because anybody, if I say the name Alejandro Villanueva, you know who I'm talking about. And he's an offensive tackle, right? So he definitely had a pretty good career in the NFL. Total badass. Dude can, probably kill you in his sleep with his bare hands. So Alejandro Villanueva is my 78 for the week.
That's a good one, Artie. Much better than mine. I'm going with a Carolina Hurricanes legend, none other than Stephen Lawrence. People used to think it was Stephen Lawrence, Lorentz,
Mhm.
Artie, but it's actually Lawrence, not Lawrence. Drafted 186th overall. Am I reading that right? 186th overall. That's in the 7th round of the NHL draft. He's now on his 3rd team. Started out with the Canes, then went out to San Jose in a trade last year, and then this year he is with the Florida Panthers, the team that disposed of the Carolina Hurricanes last year in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
He's just kind of one of those guys that he's not going to get many points. I think he's got like 21 goals, 22 assists in his career. He's going to be a 4th line guy, but he's going to provide those crucial minutes that you need. Always liked watching him play in Carolina, but no more. He is now traded in the red and black for a red and blue color of the Florida Panthers.
Where are the Florida Panthers located again? I forget. Are they in Orlando?
No, they are in Sunrise, right outside of Miami, about 40 minutes outside of Miami.
I was about to ask, what the hell is Sunrise, Florida?
Sunrise, Florida. They used to play in the BB&T Center. I don't know what it's called now, but I can guarantee it's probably not BB&T. But Artie, have you ever heard of the rat trick?
No, what is the rat trick?
They throw plastic or rubber mice or rats on the ice after playoff wins in Florida.
Yeah.
So go check it out. It's actually pretty cool. I don't know the whole history behind it, but I believe their mascot is a rat, even though they're Panthers. I don't know. They got rats everywhere in Florida. Mm-hmm. But then again, Florida sucks. So I'm kidding. All right, Artie. The Boneyard Podcast is proud to be members of the Variety Sports Podcast Network. If you're listening on our show or watching on our show on our YouTube, make sure you go over there and subscribe to the Variety Sports Network on YouTube. We could hit 500 subscribers tonight. And then if you haven't subscribed to us on the Boneyard Podcast on YouTube, do that right now. I think we're real close to 50. We started our YouTube about a year ago. We that was our initiative last year. We're going to start a YouTube channel, and we've grown it slowly. We'd like to start growing it a little bit more. We just had before we came on the show, we sat down for 30 minutes, 45 minutes. We've got content that we were planning out throughout the year. Go follow that. Go subscribe. You're going to want to do that. Josh, our producer, does a great job of clipping things and putting out clips on YouTube Shorts and whatnot. So go check it out. Subscribe, and then make sure that you subscribe to the Variety Sports Network on YouTube. All right, Artie. Not a lot going on, right? Like we've kind of gone through the transfer portal. Kind of gone through the transfer portal for the most part. We got the second signing day coming up here in February. And then you've really got all you got really going on is basketball, right? And I mean, women's basketball, there's a lot to be excited about. Men's basketball, it's been tough the last week or so.
I would say it's as expected from this program.
So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about what is going on in football. I mean, we're still talking. I mean, we're still talking about the transfer portal. ECU gets 2 big transfer commitments in the last 24 hours. In West Virginia, cornerback Andrew Wilson-Lamp, Florida State offensive lineman Kayshawn Sapp. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Already 2 areas of need, especially after Antoine Jackson enters the transfer portal last week. What are your thoughts on these two pickups?
Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely huge, right? Quarterback out of West Virginia, obviously Andrew Lamp, and then the other guy that we have. I know we had the Florida State OL Quayshawn Sapp. Um, this is huge, right? I mean, these are two big time programs. These are two big time gets. Obviously, Florida State had the season that they had. Obviously, didn't finish the way they wanted it to finish. West Virginia had a pretty decent season out of nowhere. So you have to fill those holes, right? And the portal has just been. We've done what we've wanted to do. If you're an ECU fan and you're looking at what we've done in the portal over the last few weeks, right? We've done exactly what we should have done. We're going out and getting guys that you think we should get. We're getting big name guys from big time programs. Now these are not. It's not like we got 10 to 15 All Americans, right? These are guys that still have to come in, prove their worth, prove that they still belong. But on paper, it's exactly what we should have done. There's nothing more that you can do on paper than what we did. JDB, burn the boats. We got everybody on Twitter talking about burn the boats. I love it. Keep that energy. I absolutely love it. It still remains to be seen. I'm still going to tamper my expectation. We're coming off a 2-10 season. I'm not raising my expectations for nothing until I see something on the field. I need to see that product. But on paper, it's everything that we need to do.
Yeah, I mean, everything that we've needed to do. I mean, you've gone out, you've gotten the guys that you needed. Look, I still wouldn't mind adding another offensive lineman in the portal.
Yeah.
Maybe consider another quarterback. I know ECU was looking at another quarterback in the portal. I don't know if they're going to get another one. I mean, you've got Jeter, who's going to be the backup. It seems like maybe Alex Flynn does come back. I'm not sure, but you need depth in that quarterback room. So I wouldn't mind seeing another one from there. Don't know who you're going to get, especially this late, but you can maybe find somebody to have more competition in that room. I think as far as like the skill positions go, ECU's done what it needs.
Yeah.
Right. They've gone out and gotten guys that remind me a lot of the Isaiah Winstead pickup. Right. Like guys that were undervalued where they were at, right? Like guys that were dudes.
Yeah.
And they needed a better opportunity for themselves. Now, Jalen Johnson, he was one of those guys too 2 years ago. And I think bringing in guys like that kind of have that chip on their shoulder already. They weren't getting the playing time that they thought they deserved at their schools.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've brought in what, 4 Power 5 wide receivers? You've brought in a Power 5 offensive lineman. You brought in several Power 5 guys on the defense.
Yep.
I mean, a linebacker from Louisville, edge rusher from Missouri, cornerback from West Virginia. These guys have talent, right? They need an opportunity. Why not make the best of that opportunity here in Greenville, North Carolina? And I think that's what this coaching staff is selling to these transfers. They're saying, hey, like, don't look at our record last year. Our record is what our record is, right?
Come here right now in this moment and do something special in this moment. We have an opportunity immediately to turn it around. Immediately.
With the defense that ECU has right now, Artie, and the defense that we've had over the last 2 years, building upon that, adding dudes to that side of the ball, it makes the offense more enticing to join.
And
right?
it's honestly a great selling point, right? Because what you're selling is we've already got the defense established, right? If all we need is an offense, we would have finished last season 8, 9, 10 wins, maybe, right? So that's your selling point as a coach. The defense is established. Yeah, we're going to build on to it. But you come here right now in this moment and help us build something here that has a rabid fan base, that has a big stadium, that has, a great atmosphere, great environment. You can be a part of something that helps turn the tide immediately, right? And we don't need to bring in all these guys on defense. We really just need to turn around on offense. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a great selling point. Like it's something that can happen overnight. It's not like they have to buy in for a 2 or 3 year process. They can buy in for a year and be good immediately.
Yeah. And I think that's, yes, I'm going to temper expectations. Do I think that we're going to go 12-0 next year? I don't think so.
No.
But do I think that we're going to be much better next year than what we were this year?
Well, we have to be.
I don't see how we're not.
We have to.
I mean, I know that that's not a super high bar, Artie, but it's a bar nonetheless, right? You've got to clear it. I mean, I'll say right now, I think looking at our schedule next year, looking at some of the teams on that schedule, I mean, Liberty, just lost a wide receiver just a little bit ago to the transfer portal. Quarterback's gone. Like they're gonna be okay, but they're not gonna be the same Liberty that they were this year, where they also played one of the weaker schedules in all of college football. I think their number has gone up from dead last, but at one point in the season, it was a dead last strength of schedule. So they're not going to be what they were last year.
And that's the best team we have on the schedule. And that's another great selling point. When you look at our strength of schedule going into next year, this is probably the easiest schedule ECU's had in I don't know how long, right? And I'm not throwing shit on any of the teams we play, because I know we play some decent teams next year that are going to go out and probably be decent programs. But from a schedule standpoint, when I don't see any big time names, I don't see an SEC name on there, I don't see an ACC name on there, I don't see any non-conference big time, I don't see a Big Ten name on there. Like, this is a schedule that is set up for success immediately, which is another.
The two biggest games on the schedule next year are App State and Liberty.
Like, and App State's going to be good, right? App State's not going to be a slouch.
But they've lost a lot too.
That's had our number. It's not like we can go to the App State game, but we're gonna cakewalk App State. No. That's not what it is, right? And the same with Liberty. But if those are the two hardest games on our schedule, yes, I'm feeling pretty good.
Man, I'm getting to the point already where I am starting to get too excited.
Don't do that
for ECU football, which is still 8 months away.
Don't do that. No, don't do that.
Counting down the days, Artie. Counting down the days until Norfolk State comes into Towdy Ficklin Stadium.
But on paper,
I'm excited. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with how we've done in the transfer portal. In the past, we haven't done so great in the transfer portal. Like, we've hit on a couple of guys, but now with the new staff on offense, you got the same staff on defense. They're selling the defensive side of the ball. Coach Harrell and crew say, "Hey, look what we've done over the last 2 years. Come be a part of this. Come be a part of this." And then, like you said, the offensive staff can say, "They got their shit together. We need you to be part of getting our shit together."
Right.
And when we had Caden Hauser on a couple weeks ago, he basically said that. He said that was a big selling point. And now that you've got guys that are coming in that are recruiting for you, that's huge. That is huge. So as far as the transfers we brought in, I'd like to see another offensive lineman or two, and really kind of just revamp that whole room. Guy out of Villanova, Wyatt Hummel, I'd love to see him come. He's starting to get some pretty decent offers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and once again, it goes to show, already, NIL, how important it is. Team Boneyard is doing a hell of a job helping keep talent and bring in new talent. Something that we've struggled with in the past is the money part of it.
Right.
Now are we competing with the top 50 programs in the country? Some would say no, but we're doing what we have always done and doing more with less. And
you gotta start somewhere, right?
And once people see that, hey, Team Boneyard helps and how much it helps, people are going to be more willing to donate. Same with Pirate Club, y'all. I hate to be the guy that says just donate, give all your money, give what you can. Right? Make that your New Year's. If you don't have a New Year's resolution yet, maybe it's donate to Team Boneyard or donate to the Pirate Club.
We're not asking for tithes and offering. We're not asking for 10%, but maybe 5%. Maybe 5%. That's all we're asking.
Yeah. Anything else, Artie? If not, I do want to give a shout out ECU quarterback or incoming quarterback Cole Hodge. We've talked about him quite a bit here recently on the podcast. Named the Gatorade Player of the Year for Kentucky earlier this week. So that some pretty high honors. Pretty high honors to be able to bring him in. And he's going to be the next guy.
Okay, but I was just going to ask you this, man. What do you think that room's going to be like with Jeter and Hodge in there, right? What kind of competition do you think that's going to be? We can't just cast away Jeter like he's not going to be the next dude either. So,
I mean, it's going to be a competition, but to me, Artie, I feel like there's more pure talent
out of Hodge.
Just from watching tape.
Here's what I'll say though. Do not waste these guys' talents and not develop them the right way. All right. Because the QB room at ECU historically has been pretty good. It's been pretty decent, right? It's a pretty historically good QB room, all time. It hasn't been terrible. So do not waste the talents of these guys and not develop the way you were not able to develop previously, right? So obviously, we don't know that Caden Hauser is going to be the starter. We're expecting Caden Hauser to be a starter, but outside of that, between a Hodge and a Jeter and who else you bring in, we need that competition to be fierce, and we need that to build, into who is going to, because one of those guys is going to be next, and they got to be ready when the number's called. Even if if a Hauser goes down, they got to be ready when the number gets called. So develop. That's all I ask.
Yeah, we can't make the same mistake we made this past year. Competition. That's all I'm asking for. Competition. Put pressure on these guys. We need some dogs, and I don't think that any of the guys in the QB room last year, and I'm really talking about the main two, Flynn and Garcia. Neither of them really bought into the competition. And I don't think that the coaching staff challenged them enough.
It looked like two guys trying to keep their head above water.
Right. Now you've got a guy that's coming in.
Yeah.
Started in the Big Ten. I mean, granted, did they have the best season? No. But he's played and shown that he can make things happen against some of the best defenses in the country. In Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State, those schools. He played all three of them. So,
at the end of the day, I don't want my quarterback treading water in the kiddie pool, right? I want him with a Michael Phelps mindset, and let's go out here and let's dominate. So that's all I ask for. You ain't got to be Michael Phelps. I just want you to have a Michael Phelps mindset. Go out there and do it.
For sure, Artie. All right. Anything else on football? Oh, did we mention it last week? Damon Magazoo.
Oh yeah,
officially announced.
Yes. Snaps to that.
Damon Magazoo, former ECU safety, announced as the safeties coach, taking over for Trip Weaver, who left for Austin Peay to be the defensive coordinator there. Magazoo was formerly at UNLV. Now he's coming home. Many people remember his interception of Russell Wilson in the end zone during overtime. That was 2010, I believe.
Yeah.
So
little whippersnappers.
That was, I mean, it's you're starting to see, Artie, guys that played when we were in school start to really kind of, they're not just grad assistants anymore.
Right.
They're position coaches and getting real jobs in the coaching world. So shout out to David Magazoo, Coach Magazoo. We're gonna try to get him on the Boneyard podcast.
Oh yeah,
sometime soon. I mean, great fit, great family, and welcome back home, Coach Magazoo. But anything else on football? I don't have anything else. We can move along, Artie.
I was gonna say it's different when you come home though, and when you come home and you play for the program and you have a certain level of respect and love and admiration, like obviously you're gonna give your all to any program that you coach for. You have that professional pride. You're gonna give it your all. But when you actually come home and to have the opportunity to coach for a program that you played for, a school that you went to, it's just it hits different. It does. So yeah, shout out to David Magazoo. I know he's going to give this position everything he's got.
Yeah, I'm excited. He was one of the guys that early on I was like, he would be a good fit for that role. All right, let's talk some basketball.
Yeah,
the women's team fought hard against South Carolina, even led at one point, but fell 73-36 to the number one team in the country, the Gamecocks. Micah Dennis went out with a injury early on, right before the first media break. ECU's at 8-4 after last night. Was it last night or 2 nights ago? Beating UTSA San Antonio to open American Athletic Conference play, and I mean they really put it on them. And UTSA isn't a terrible team. ECU won 82-54. It was never really close. I mean, up 25-13 in the first. It was clear very early on how the game was going to go. Your thoughts on ECU's start to conference play on the hard court?
That is the kind of bounce back win that you want. Obviously, after the disappointment with South Carolina, and look, you know, it's disappointment, but you can't say it wasn't expected. South Carolina's a juggernaut, and I heard that the building was raucous. I heard it was a great atmosphere. I heard we showed up, and that's what we wanted. That's what we needed. You know, but obviously that game happened and ended the way it happened. To be able to come out and to perform the way you did against UTSA, you're right. They came into that game, I think, at 500. It was 6-6 when UTSA came into that game. UTSA was, and to be able to have 4 women in double figures, right, and to be able to dominate from start to finish, it was never close, and to really kind of cement yourself and say, okay, we won this thing last year. We want y'all to know again, we coming, we back, we here, we coming, we're defending our conference championship. And if you want to compete for an American Athletic Conference Championship, you do have to go through ECU. And that's the kind of vibes that I got from this past win to open conference play. That is a perfect response after a devastating loss, a disappointing loss, not a shocking loss, but a disappointing loss nonetheless to South Carolina. That's exactly what you have to do.
What I'll say, Artie, is ECU held South Carolina to the second fewest points that the Gamecocks have had all year.
All season, right?
And that was without Sanaya Johnson, a starter. And for the majority of the game, I mean, she went out when it was 6-6 without Micah Dennis, a leader on this team.
That South Carolina team can put up 100 against anybody. Anybody. So the fact that we held them under 80, yes. That's not a small task. That's not a small feat.
You may look at the points and be like, oh, wow, ECU got stomped. South Carolina is most likely going to win the national championship.
They're a juggernaut. They're an absolute juggernaut. They're what UConn was a few years ago, right? Like they're just a juggernaut. So
make sure support those ladies. Really excited for them going on. I guess they play at Memphis next Tuesday night. Or on Tuesday. What day is it? On the 6th. That day is wrong. So that would be Saturday night, and then they're at home on the 10th against UAB. UAB's good. UAB is looking really good. 11-3.
Yeah. Yeah, UAB's good. They're not bad. They are not bad. So that's going to be a good challenge.
Get out there, support the ladies. Already men's basketball.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, watching the FAU game, it's like, how the hell do we lose to East Tennessee, knowing that we kept it a game with FAU all the way up into the last 4 to 5 minutes of that game with FAU, right? Like, we were going tit for tat. We were making shots. FAU was making shots, trying to put us away. We were also making shots, staying in the game. We kept it within striking distance. When you're a team on the road playing a top 25 opponent, that's exactly what you want to do. Just keep it within 4, 5, 6 points and then strike. But we're not a closer. ECU men's basketball does not know how to close. That's we're not there yet. We don't know how to close. We have guys that can play. We can compete. We can be in these games with good teams, right? We're not going to get blown out the water by a good team. Maybe so in years past, but we don't know how to close. When you're in that last 4 to 5 minutes, you got to bring it home, no matter who you're playing. We haven't figured that out yet, which is why we're sitting at 7-7 at 500. Why we lose to an East Tennessee that we probably should not have lost to, especially after the effort that we gave against FAU and Boca Raton. Being able to finish these games, and so that's the disappointing thing.
Yeah, and this team, and I think Bobby Pettiford said it best. I mean, when talking about the loss to East Tennessee State, you got that Josh, East Tennessee State University. I mean, and I'm paraphrasing, basically said, we've got good athletes here, but we're still trying to figure out how to use all of our guys, and rather than we're being too cute with the ball, right? We're being too cute with it, instead of just going out there and balling out. That's basically what he said after that loss. He said that at times that he thinks that not everybody's fully bought in, and it's hard having energy at nights, some nights, but that's the thing. You've got to bring the energy no matter whether you're playing East Tennessee State or if you're playing Florida or South Carolina or FAU or Memphis.
Do you love to ball or not? It just comes, do you love the ball or not?
No matter who you play, each and every night you step on that court, and I know it's easier said than done, you've got to come out with the same energy each and every night. And ECU basketball doesn't do that. They play up to an opponent, then they play way below an opponent.
Right.
And they haven't found any consistency in their game. Now, they'll play a lights out first half, and then they'll shit the bed the second half. Or they shit the bed in the first half, and they try to claw their way back into the second half, but they can't come back from what they've already done. So that's the main issue for this ECU team. And part of it is growing together and maturation, but you got to start building that. You're getting to 15 games on the season. You got to have that put together. I get having that the first 3 or 4 games in the season.
Right, but you're getting to the halfway point now.
Granted, Cam Hayes coming into the lineup, that's new. But still, you've got to have some sort of team mentality. And I don't know if this team has it. And it's not that, look, I'm not saying that they're not being team players and they don't care for each other. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's almost the opposite, right, Artie? They are trying to get everybody the ball and spread it around too much. You got a bunch of guys that can ball out. But when you start to put them all together, they get, like I said earlier, they get too cute with it. And they look for the perfect shot. And at this level of college basketball, you're not going to have the perfect shot most of the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you will, but most of the time you're not going to have that perfect shot. So, Artie, I really hope. I mean, Brandon Johnson played lights out the other night. So, 19 points. RJ Felton had 17. Bobby Pettiford had 12. Ezra Azar had 12 as well. And then one thing that stood out to me, Artie, is in I believe it was the East Tennessee State game, ECU didn't get many points from the bench. You can't just have your starters getting all
your starting five, right? Your bench has to produce. Like obviously, you don't have to produce what the starting five produces, but they have to be able to get on the floor and give you quality minutes and not either give up a lead or let the other team blow you out, so that when your starters get their rest and they come back on the floor, it's still a manageable game and they can do what they need to do. The bench is crucial at any level of basketball. The bench is crucial.
Yeah. And they were in that game. They led at half against Florida Atlantic, a team that was in the Final Four last year that returned 12 of 13 guys from last year's Final Four team. They were leading at half. They were within a score or two.
5 minutes left. That game is close.
And then ended up losing by what, 15?
Yeah, like 5 minutes left in that game. We are within striking distance against a team that had just beat Arizona. They're ranked 17. I know they lost to Florida Gulf Coast a few days beforehand, which that was, FAU is one of those teams. If they show up and they're inspired, they can beat anybody. But if they're not inspired, they can lose one of those types of games. But regardless, 10-3, 17 in the country, and you're in it. 5 minutes to go on their floor, you're in it. And then they just go on that little tangent, that little run, and all of a sudden it's a 15-point lead, like you said, the game's over. So being able to finish, and then also it's just like, how bad do you want it, right? It's just that we have to have a come to Jesus moment of how bad do you want it in that locker room. I think Schwartz is going to get it turned around. I still believe in Coach Schwartz. I still know he's going to get it turned around. He's getting the right pieces. But like you said, we're getting too cute with it. And in any basketball, at any level, you do have to have a closer. You have to have 1 to 2 guys that are going to say, I don't give a damn what y'all are doing. I'm going to take over this game.
And I think that
we are within striking distance. I'm going to take over this game.
That's what I'll say about this team is they've got guys that can do that and have done that at points in the season.
Consistently, though.
But the one thing, like going to the consistency, it's almost like that's a different guy each and every game.
Right. You got to have the consistent.
Some nights it's Pettiford. Some nights it's Felton. Some nights it's Johnson. You got to have that consistency. And if you could get those 3 guys going with consistency, look out.
Right. And I would agree with that. When you get that 1 to 2, that closer, that's like, okay, I know my abilities. I know what I can do. I don't give a damn who we're playing. I'm going to take over this game. I'm putting the team on my back. We're going to win or lose on me. It is what it is. We're still going to play team ball, right? But I'm going to take over this game and will us to a victory. That's basketball. Basketball is more hero ball than any other sport that I know, to be honest with you. You can play hero ball in basketball. You really can. Because you need a closer in basketball to be like, I'm going to take over this game.
Mamba mentality. Yeah, I mean, got another good test this weekend already. Playing Tulsa and then playing Temple, I believe, next Wednesday. Tulsa 12-3 on the season. Sneaky good. That's a sneaky 12-3 team.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
So
yeah, that's them and FAU, right? Top of the American right
now. Memphis
it's
too.
One.
Memphis too. So
okay,
yeah. Memphis has been on a tear too. So look out.
Tulsa came out of nowhere though. I was not.
I'm not. We said last week that finishing 5 games over 500 is where ECU should have their goal for the year. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to get there in conference play. If you're there in conference play, you've beaten some pretty good teams.
But granted, I thought we'd be sitting at 8-6 right now. So
yeah. But all right, what's next? What do we got next? This makes me depressed talking basketball sometimes. Twitter question from Cameron Yarborough. Are you convinced we've made the right additions in the transfer portal? Cam, we talked about it quite a bit earlier. I think so. I think ECU looked at where they needed to fill holes and where they needed to completely gut and make changes. And so far, everything on the wish list that they needed, they've gotten. Now, granted, that comes in the form of some guys that are unproven, some guys that were highly recruited out of high school and never really made it work in college. But overall, I think that ECU's done a pretty good job in the transfer portal. I like I said earlier, I would like to see another offensive lineman, add some more depth there, and maybe another quarterback. Now we're just trying to build, right? Like we're trying to build depth, and I think that's the number one goal for ECU going into the spring, is if they can build depth, whether it's transfer portal or getting guys to commit. We'll see. I mean, you only have a certain amount of scholarships, and transfer guys can take high school guys' scholarships away, and you need to be thoughtful of that, because transfer guys are only going to be here for a couple years, maybe even just a year. So you got to be mindful of where you're giving scholarships out to, so that way you can build longevity as well as that depth. Yeah. Artie, your thoughts?
I concur. I would say short answer, yes. We have done what we've needed to do. I think it is enough. Obviously, getting another guy on offensive line. We can never have enough good offensive linemen at this point. But a long answer to me, it still remains to be seen, right? Because I'm a finished product kind of guy. I want to see how spring ball's looking. I want to see how that spring scrimmage is going to look. I want to see how these guys mesh. You can bring all the talent in the world together, but are they going to be able to come in singular in one single locker room, not only be able to buy in and mesh together, but form good relationships that you need to have to be able to win a lot of football games, right? Talent and skill can only take you so far. The buy-in factor, the culture factor, the I want to do this for my brothers factor, that is just as important as the skill is for any program that wants to be consistently good at anything. So the long answer is that it remains to be seen. But short answer, yes, we've done enough.
Awesome. All right, Artie. Walk the plank. Do you have one?
Yeah, all my Michigan haters. To hell with y'all. Walk the plank. We ain't won the natty yet. We ain't done nothing yet. I'm not saying we've done anything. We ain't done nothing yet. But to all my Michigan haters, you guys cheated. You guys didn't earn it. We beat the SEC champion. We beat Ohio State 3 years in a row. We won the Big Ten championship 3 years in a row. Y'all can walk the damn plank, bro. I don't give a damn what you got to say. You can walk the plank. I don't care. That goes to all my Michigan haters. Anybody that don't appreciate or like the product of Michigan football, walk the damn plank. I'm not going to be in my soapbox forever. That's all I got.
We really need to get a dump button for you when you start talking about Michigan.
We're in the natty. We're in the natty, Jared. The natty.
All right. I got two. First off, anybody that thought Liberty was going to even stand a chance against Oregon can walk the damn plank.
Hey, they had 2 great plays though. I've been seeing that on Twitter all week. They had 2 exciting plays.
Congratulations.
But they took the lead for 30 seconds.
Congratulations. That's like us celebrating the fact that we led South Carolina in women's basketball. Like, get the hell out of here.
I'll
say this.
I'll still say Liberty deserved to be there. Were they going to get blown out? Of course. Oregon only lost to Washington, who's playing in the national championship. Obviously, Oregon is one of the great teams in the country this year. So, yes, they were going to get blown out. But Liberty deserved to be there. They earned it.
I saw a lot of conversation because I've been very adamant that I didn't think Liberty deserved to be there. I still don't necessarily think that they deserve to be there.
Well, Tulane should have done their damn job. How about
I agree. I still think SMU over Liberty any day of the week. I'll die on that hill, Artie. I think that the American Athletic Conference champion deserves that spot over any Conference USA champion ever. I don't care if you go 13-0.
You're not putting a 2-losser over an undefeated. A 1-loss over an undefeated. That's an argument. Not a 2-loss over an undefeated.
Guess what, Artie? They did it though in the college football playoff.
They did a 1-loss over an undefeated, not a 2-loss. They did a 1-loss conference champion over an undefeated, mind you.
Okay. Still, I do think that SMU or Tulane deserve that spot over Liberty, and I'll die on that hill. I don't care. Look, and I saw people were like, "Oh, it's because of all of the political stuff, and you're just a lib or whatever." I'm not. Already knows me. I'm not. I don't care about any of that politics. I don't give a rat's ass.
Liberty earned the right to be there, man. They earned the right.
You never played anybody. You never played anybody. You played a cupcake Conference USA schedule, and I know I sound like the guys in the SEC and the ACC and the Big 10 and the Big 12. I know I sound like that. You didn't play anybody. So get the hell out of here. Get out of here. I don't care.
Okay. Let me ask you.
Try more and take this L when we come into Lynchburg.
East Carolina goes 13-0 next year, wins the American with a cupcake schedule, because that's what we got. Do we deserve the New Year's Six bowl game?
Well, next year
it goes to 12 next year. I know it goes to 12 next year.
Next year you win the conference. You're probably in the college football playoff.
Not a 12-game playoff, just how it was this year. ECU deserve to be in the New Year's Six?
Over Liberty, yes.
Because we got a cupcake schedule going into next year.
Over Liberty, yes. Plus, one of those wins would have been over Liberty.
Okay.
Artie, don't even try. And then number 2, David Tepper throwing a drink on a damn fan.
Oh yeah, man. He's
in Jacksonville.
He's
what are you doing, guy?
Owner in the NFL. He's a jackass.
The Dan Snyder Idiot Award. God bless.
Congratulations. You took over a team and made it worse. You took over a bad team and made it worse. Congratulations.
And you still don't have the first overall pick.
Congratulations. You gave it to us. No, Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? You be willing to trade down to like 8, Artie?
What's that?
You think I'd be willing to trade down to like 8?
We're not giving Atlanta shit. We're not giving Atlanta a damn thing.
Can Matt Ryan come out of retirement already?
Yeah, we're not giving y'all down.
Yeah. No, David Tepper walked the damn plank. You can't be throwing drinks on people. Look, I gave Brittany Mahomes shit when she threw a drink on somebody a couple years ago. You're the owner of an NFL franchise. Guess what? You're still a billionaire. You're still a billionaire. I get it. Your team sucks. They're going to suck. They've always sucked, and they will always suck.
Well, they haven't always sucked. The Panthers have not always sucked. The Panthers have had really, really good seasons. Like,
and then they pissed it all away by getting rid of Cam Newton.
well, they can't the Cam Newton side.
You want to talk about a team or a franchise that severely fumbled the bag? The Carolina Panthers.
All they had to do was protect that man a little bit more and tell him to slide and stop taking all them hits, and he might still be playing at an elite level.
I'll never forget the time Cam Newton was on my flight. And then the very next day, he turned right around and told a female reporter she didn't know anything about football. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah, he was on my flight. And then 2 days later, he was telling a reporter she didn't know anything about football. Those were what a time to be alive, Artie.
That was something.
All right. Bowl season, there's officially one more game in the 2023-2024 college football season.
Yes.
We'll talk about that here in a second, but I want to get your take. What was your bowl of the year?
Oh, well, I mean, honestly, the last two games we watched for the college football playoff is really good, right? I mean,
this is the best college football playoff we've ever had.
Well, no, last year was good too. Last year,
yeah, but last year they were. I don't know. I didn't think last year was as good as what this year is, and I think that it sets up for a better national championship game than what we had last year.
I will say, because I don't really think any of the bowl games were really that exciting or enticing outside the college football playoff that I can think of. So I'm gonna go with Texas Washington. Honestly, the drama that was, I stayed up till 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. Whenever that game went off, I stayed up because I watched the whole game, and it was late when that game went off. But the drama that built in the last couple of minutes of that game, Washington had it won, right? And then one of their players goes down, gets injured. They gift wrap Texas another 45 to 50 seconds, and Texas takes the most of it and literally goes all the way down the field. I think they convert a fourth down on that drive to one of their players. They get it within striking distance. And, I mean, all the drama in the world, you're set up at a 4th and goal. They have a chance. I think Adonai Mitchell, who was the receiver for Texas, was open, but Ellinger threw a bad pass on that play. In my opinion, had he threw a better pass, I think Adonai Mitchell would have beat the corner on that play and caught that for a touchdown to win the game. But the drama in that Texas-Washington game, the back and forth, the way it finished, even more so than the Michigan-Alabama game, even though that was a classic with overtime. But the college football playoff in general, that was a phenomenal set of games.
Yeah, they were the most exciting college football playoff games. They came down to both of them came down to the wire.
And ESPN looks like they were right because it produced the best college football playoff ever. So they're right.
I think I'm gonna go outside of the college football playoff just because we're gonna talk about best playoff game. I'm gonna go to the Clemson Kentucky the Gator Bowl. That game was phenomenal.
Yeah, I didn't even watch that game. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't even watch Clemson Kentucky.
I mean, it came to, you want to talk about a game that came down to the wire, deciding whether you need to go for 2, kick it. Always love that. There were some pretty good bowl games out there, Artie. There are some pretty good bowl games played. All right. I think that the best playoff game was that Alabama-Michigan game. I'm guessing you think the same. So we can move on. Instant classic.
Yeah.
All right, Artie. I don't have anything else. I'm kidding. Number 1, Michigan versus number 2, Washington. Over unders 56.5. Michigan's a 4.5 point favorite for all the marbles. Who on Monday night is crowned a national champion?
This game is exactly what it should be, right? It's 2 undefeated teams. It's 1 versus 2, right? And it's the last 2 undefeateds in the country. It's exactly what it should be. It's Michigan, Washington. In my opinion, the 2 most complete teams in the country are playing for a national championship. The one quarterback that I respect, I know he didn't win the Heisman. I know Daniels won the Heisman, but Michael Penix is the one quarterback that I respect the most in the entire country. Michael Penix, if he wants to beat you, he can beat you. It's just pure and simple. He's got NFL wide receivers. He's got two of them, maybe a third one on that offense. They can score at will. I will say though, I'm intrigued by the trenches matchup. I think Michigan in the trenches is just better than Washington. Not think they're better than Washington in the trenches, and I think that can determine the game. We have a good secondary, but again, Washington has NFL type wide receivers, which will always be able to beat a good college secondary. So I think the battle's going to be won in the trenches. I really think it's going to come down to JJ McCarthy. He's going to have to put on the cape at some point and go out and win this game. I think Washington's going to put an emphasis on Blake Corum, on Donovan Edwards, on bottling up that run game. We're still going to do what we want to do run game wise as far as getting some good yardage from chunk plays, but I think JJ is going to have to put on the cape and try to win the game for us, which he's capable of. But obviously, give me Michigan. What was the over? What was the over under?
56.5.
56.5. Michigan, Alabama, 27-20. I'm gonna say this game is gonna be like 31-27. It's gonna be a 31-27 type of ball game. There's gonna be some offense in here, but there's gonna be some critical defensive stops.
31-27. So Michigan wins outright. Washington covers, and the over hits.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say 31-24. Huskies win a national championship.
Honestly, though, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm gonna be devastated if we lose, but I respect Washington, so I would be able to actually go to sleep that night. Had we lost to Alabama in the national championship or Georgia in the national championship or somebody like that, I don't know if I'd be able to sleep at night. We're not gonna lose to Washington. I'm still gonna be disgusted, but I would be able to kind of take it a little bit better. I just respect Washington. Josh got to take on this though. Let my man Josh.
All right. So here's the thing. When was the last time Michael Penix played against Michigan? He was at Indiana,
Yeah.
right? Jared, what did you say the spread was on this Michigan game against Washington? 4.5 points, right? Michigan's the favorite, right?
Yep.
Michigan was favored against Indiana by 4.5. Indiana ended up winning that game, 38-21.
I remember that game.
History repeats itself. Michael Penix goes out as one of the greatest
in the cold room. We were still figuring shit out. That was before we went on our 3-year run. I remember that game. Yeah.
So I've got Washington.
I've been watching Penix since he was at Indiana. I know how good of a quarterback he's phenomenal. Michael Penix is phenomenal.
And just think, he should have went to Tennessee.
Like he's great.
So all right, that's my hot take. 38-21, Washington wins. Michael Penix, number 1 overall, and then gets traded immediately from the Bears.
I will say though, I don't even think it's a hot take. I do think Michael Penix is a better quarterback than Caleb Williams. I do. I think he's a better quarterback. I think he's a more ready now NFL quarterback. The injuries, because he's had knee injuries, that's going to scare a lot of people. I just think he's a more like Caleb Williams gives you more Patrick Mahomes, and I get that with the upside. But to me, a Michael Penix is a more Peyton Manning, more of a guarantee. So that's why I think he's a better quarterback.
Yeah, if Michael Penix is there when the Falcons are on the board and they don't pick him,
like Michael Penix is going to be a good NFL quarterback. He may not win Super Bowls, but he's going to be a really good NFL quarterback.
I'm hoping and praying that he's there. I don't know if he will be.
Yeah,
somebody's gonna be a fool and draft Drake May. second overall, and I think that's insane. But
yeah, I
um,
would say it's the same. But Drake May is not the second best quarterback in this draft.
no. So all right, Artie. And while I was thinking about it, while I was listening to you ramble on about the Wolverines, I did think of another walk the plank.
Yeah.
That officiating crew or really the ending of that Dallas Cowboys Detroit Lions game.
That was awful. Yeah, that was awful. That was awful. You robbed Detroit of a potential number 1 seed. It's awful.
So, but did he declare? Did he not declare? I don't know.
I've seen the videos. It looked like he declared.
Yeah, but they didn't announce that he declared. I don't know. I don't know who to believe.
I don't know. That's one of those places like you let the game come down to the refs, and I hate that.
Yeah. All right. That's all I got. Artie, good episode. Make sure you go subscribe to the Boneyard Podcast and Variety Sports Network on YouTube. Follow us on social media at Boneyard Podcast on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're going to be doing a lot of social content this year, a lot more than we have done in the past. We've got a team now. We've got a squad. Brought on Courtney Layton. She's a member of the Boneyard Podcast now.
Yeah, Courtney.
So you'll be seeing more from her. You'll be seeing some from Josh, more from Artie and myself. Lots of good things in the works for 2024. So make sure you follow us. Subscribe to us on YouTube, like I said, at Boneyard Podcast, and leave us a review wherever you listen to your podcast. 5 stars, you're a best friend of the podcast. 1 star, you can walk the damn plank. Artie, let's get the fuck out of here.
Hey, as always, Pirate Nation, we love you. Wash your hands, wash your butts. Michigan, bring it home like it's 1997, baby. Let's go. Go Blue. Go Pirates. Deuce.
Peace.